May is Arthritis Awareness Month, and the Arthritis Foundation is celebrating 75 years of service this year. So today we're happy to have Lauren Amendola from the Arthritis Foundation. Thank you so much for being with us. And also an arthritis warrior, Jennifer Castro. Thanks for joining us here on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Now, a lot of people think they know about arthritis. They say, oh, it affects your joints and your hands, but talk a little bit more about what it actually does to your body.
So arthritis, and there's over 100 different types of arthritis, and that's affecting...
I did not know that.
Right, it's a lot, and there's a lot of different diseases that fall into that category. That could be Lyme disease, lupus, and it's also affecting children. So we're seeing that a higher percentage of people under the age of 65 are affected by arthritis. So it's 1 in 4, 25% of our population, and it's really attacking your joints with inflammation, pain, and wearing down the protection around your joints.
It's really important that you talk about the ages, because I think typically people think that it affects people who are older, but you said it could affect children even as well.
Yep, children get arthritis as well. Over 300,000 children are affected, as well as adults. And you're going to see every age, race, demographic. I mean, there's no barriers here. And that's why we want to bring more awareness to arthritis and really let the community know.
And Jennifer, how old were you when you found out that you had psoriatic arthritis?
Yes, I was about 35, and I had been battling with some symptoms for a lot longer previously to that. And everyone was like, oh, you're younger, you're healthy, and we're just going to look at that later in life. And even some doctors looked over that. So it was really an investigation and kind of keeping at it. When you know something is going on with your body, you really have to be aware of it, and you really have to be focused on getting yourself better, and no matter what that takes.
That's really important that you're bringing that up, because if you know something is wrong with your body, if you know something's not right, don't be afraid to speak up and keep advocating for yourself. And that sounds like that's what you had to do.
Absolutely. Yep.
And what has it been like since your diagnosis?
So I think the first thing was just finding out that there was something going on. And once, it's very intimidating, because you're like, oh, I'm younger and I don't know if I want to go that route. But you have to know what's going on, and you have to be aware of that when you know that you can face it better. So if I have a diagnosis, if I have a goal, what I'm going to be working towards, it's a lot easier to cope with that and managing that, because that would open up the door to a community of other people who are kind of doing the same as you, trying to figure out what's going on, where do you go from here, and it's emotionally it's comforting.
Yeah, you're talking about the community, and that's where the Arthritis Foundation comes in. We mentioned it earlier, celebrating 75 years. That's really incredible. And talk a little bit more about the resources that are available out there and the support that people might not be aware of.
Right, so and we've come so far in those 75 years, but we have a way to go, and we really want to boldly pursue a cure and really help our community, as with research. But right now, we have resources and connections and a community for support that people need now, and arthritis.org has all of that information for people to go and get the help they need.
Let's talk a little bit more, just briefly, about symptoms. If people are saying, you know what, my hands have started to feel a little bit tight or a little bit achy, should that be a warning sign for somebody?
Well, tight and achy is definitely part of it, but inflammation is a very big part, especially of the autoimmune side of the arthritic diseases. So having inflammation, swelling, along with the aches and pains, that's really consistent, and you should always reach out to a doctor. But I don't think people initially always think of arthritis, so knowing a little bit more about it, I think will be helpful.
And talk a little bit more about how you're managing your arthritis now, Jennifer.
So I meet with my doctors regularly, and I think that's very important to have a team behind you. It's not only a regular doctor, I have naturopathic, and so I explore all avenues, and I feel that that's, when you have all of those tools in your toolbox, you are very prepared. And not only with having all those tools, you come in contact with so many other people, and finding those people that are doing different remedies that are working for them, you never know if it's going to work for you. And I think that has been kind of like the sweet spot, because something is going to work for somebody, but you wouldn't have met that person if you weren't kind of looking for more yourself. So I think that's super important.
Yeah, that community makes such a big difference. It's having that connection. Maybe that one person initially that you meet, has a story and something that can help, or then they have another friend, and it's just an incredible group that comes together.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Lauren and Jennifer, thanks so much for being with us. I learned a lot.
Thank you.
I learned some important information, so I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing that with our viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.